Ready? All right, episode 3, Feeney Talks with Friends. I'm here at Direct Line Media. Thank you to my friend Dave for letting us have this place. And I'm with Rob. What's up, Rob?
What's up, Feeney? How are you?
What up, what up?
I've been debating whether to call you Eric or Feeney all day, and I think I'm just gonna go with what works on the court.
Yeah, my mom calls me Feeney, so go with it. Wife does too. But yeah, I ended episode 1 that I'm gonna have Rob on. He's a CrossFitter, he's a basketball player, he's a lawyer, he's a dad, he's a rock star. So where do you want to start?
Why did you lead with CrossFitter? Like, you led with the one that's going to catch me the most flack.
Because CrossFitters like to talk about CrossFit.
I know, but I'm like trying to pretend. I just pretend at least that I'm not that. But yeah, I guess you're right.
So what was your wob today? You want to talk about it?
I haven't been doing it. I've been doing home workouts. Okay. This interview's over. I'm just where to start? You should always start with being a dad, right? Like that's what I. As you get older, right? Like what is your identity when you're in high school? Like, I'm a baseball player, I'm a basketball player. That's all you think about. It's like through sports. That's how Feeney and I'm talking to the audience here. That's how Feeney and I met, through basketball. As you get older, like what ends up defining you for a long time is your work. But like in the end, it's the thing that I spend the most time on. The thing I spent outside of my work today, I spent about 45 minutes teaching my daughter a song on the piano and watching my son work on something on the guitar and so that's a rock star thing too. But like the thing that I think about and process most during my day outside of my work, which they literally pay for my brain, is how do I make these kids better than me, every day.
That's the goal. Make sure your kids become better than you are.
Which
and
is
that's
such a low bar, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my kids already read more books than me, so they're good. They're only 11. Speaking of, we read a book that is an adaptation of fairy tales. So Belle and Beast.
Okay.
That we were talking books earlier, Wayside Story, and then we did a little read aloud yesterday. My daughter, we took turns reading the pages back and forth.
And her part went a little faster than your part.
And she said, "No, you're done reading."
Dad,
I tried to blame the lighting. It was the lighting. No, it was a good book. And then there's so many different series. My other daughter was reading Sleeping Beauty. And it's just adaptation, so it's pretty cool.
My kids found, and this is a great series, they found that it's like a graphic novel, Hilo. It's about this android superhero kid. And they read, our friends recommended it to us. They read, it's 6 books, right? And my son we got it on a Friday, and he was done with the first 3 books by like Saturday, Sunday. And I needed to go order the next 3 from Amazon. He was done by the end of the weekend. And then my daughter read it, and she was done by like Tuesday, Wednesday. They both read all 6 books in less than a week.
And you said graphic novel?
Graphic novel. And then I read it, and I took like twice as long as both of them because I don't have the same dedicated time. I can read faster than a child.
It's the time.
I did have time. But it was so good that the kids tore. My only disappointment is that it just like didn't occupy them for very long. Give and take, right? Because on the other hand, it's something that they really connected to, and they will always remember it, and will move their brain and move their hearts and move their mind. But on the other hand, man, it would have been nice to have like another afternoon of quiet.
Did you buy it too? And it's like $15, and they read it in a day.
Yeah, which again, it's one thing if you buy a movie and it's 2 hours of their life and they never watch it again. It's another thing, like a book, they'll come back to it.
Yeah, my kids reread.
That's an area where I'm just not stingy. It's like,
and I have to say, graphic novels. Teacher, obviously, and parents ask, what do you think of graphic novels? I cannot suggest more. Mm-hmm. Children, or parents listening, get your children reading graphic novels. It's not, they see pictures. They don't think they're really reading because they're just reading dialogue bubbles. All for it. I mean, Big Nate and Diary of a Wimpy Kid they're known, their statistics of male readers had increased because of that book. So definitely push the graphic novels.
The other one, both.
But you already knew that, though.
Well, I stumbled into it. I'm not. Both of them, their first book that they connected to, the first series that they connected to, was Dogman, which is by the guy who does
Dave Pilkey.
Yeah, Dave Pilkey.
Half dog,
Harold
half
and Kumar.
Cop.
Yep, half dog, half man cop. What more do you want? And that was for both of them. That was the first book. Like they wait for it to come in. We always pre-order the next one. It's September 1st, so get your pre-orders in.
Great humor.
Yeah, I mean. So I read the first Dogman. I'm like, this is it. Like it's fine. Like Harold, not Harold and Kumar. what's the name of it?
George and Harold.
George and Harold. Yeah. George and Harold.
Underpants.
Oh, Captain Underpants. Right. That one, like I find that one a little bit funnier. And I was like Dogman must be like so much better than Captain Underpants. And then I read it. I'm like, this is the one. This is the one. You kind of like Captain Underpants, but you go crazy for this. You know what? There's no if it connects with them.
As long as they're reading.
I don't care exactly.
What series number are they on now? What book number?
Dogman is up to about 6 or 7. Captain Underpants is quite a few more.
Oh yeah. No, Dave Pilkey. I knew Dave Pilkey. Halloweener. That's a throwback. His first picture book is about a Halloween, the wiener dog dressed up as a hot dog, Halloweener.
So he has.
And you say that, and the kids just crack up laughing.
Right. So he has like a theme. He's like, mashup of dog and something up, either something else, either in the name or in the character.
Man, a guy get up with a funky little idea, and now he's a millionaire.
You know,
movies, books. Even the guy, Lunch Lady. You write a book about a superhero lunch lady. That's Jared Kukauska. I always mess it up, but
I haven't seen it. It's good?
Yeah.
I'll check it out. Yeah. And so you're just disappointed because your idea of the wiener dog and fifth grade teacher story hasn't caught on. You're just jealous of Dave Pilkey.
Very jealous. I'm writing a book someday soon. It's gonna be a hit. Buy it. Picture book. No, I also want to thank you. You rocked it at our makerspace.
We acoustic rocked it at the makerspace.
Was it acoustic?
It was
plugged in.
We were plugged in, but it was acoustic guitars, a little cajon.
Yeah.
My good friends Jeremy Haddad and Tim Gibson play with me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jerry Haddad Music. Mm-hmm. Check them out.
Yep. Jeremy.
Yeah.
And me and Tim are in a band, Sunday Vinyl, local here. I might as well plug it while we're here.
Very good.
Just a couple of dads playing rock covers, having fun.
And I saw you in Bristol. That was fun too. I went to Bristol.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good Space Legends.
Yeah, good time.
Yeah, no, that's great. The Makerspace thing was awesome. My kids loved it.
Yeah, October 6th. It was the same day as the Park Road Parade. And then it was Global Cardboard Challenge Day. So it started by... That's funny. Our next guest is going to be Wendy from Makerspace, and she is all about cardboard, so tune into that one. But Makerspace, you're building children to be the next NASA engineer. Mm-hmm. You give them a piece of cardboard and duct tape, and just let them create.
Yeah.
And just ask them, hey, what are you making?
That's been a nice kind of dovetail of COVID is that, everybody's ordering everything from Amazon. Yeah. My kids won't let us throw away a box. Nice. We bring a box into the house. They're coming at us with a roll of tape. They're like, that's ours. I'm like, no, that's garbage. We need to get that. And we got a pile of boxes, in the kitchen. And they just won't let us throw away a box. And I guess I have you to thank for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Yes. Caught on. We're still seeing, I don't know, October 6th, maybe too close to see if we can get a social distance Global Cardboard Challenge. Thank you, Elmwood Senior Center, Community Center. They had the gazebo and they had the grass, and we had 1,000 pounds of cardboard. It was a great day, beautiful weather. The kids were building and creating, and we had good tunes. Thanks to Rob, Jeremy, and Tim. Awesome. Check them out. Sunday Vinyl.
That gazebo was a great place to play. We set ourselves up, but 2/3 of the way through the gig, somebody just he was in a wheelchair, just fell off the back of the gazebo. So we're playing. I'm sitting there facing the audience, and all of a sudden you hear and Tim stops playing. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? We had to
I did not know that.
Pull him back onto the gazebo. So it's a little dangerous.
You can't have that at the Global Cardboard
No,
Challenge. No injuries.
I know. I'm sure you guys aren't carrying insurance.
You know what I think he was? I think he was jamming. Was he rocking too much?
Yeah. I think we acoustic rocked a little too hard, and I think he just couldn't keep it together.
Hopefully you're there again, October 6th.
And we promise we won't acoustic rock this hard this time. Yeah. or we'll take all proper safety precautions.
No injuries. Yeah, so teacher, you obviously been to the school system. We're going to talk teachers. Do you have a favorite teacher?
I was thinking about this. I certainly have a favorite if I think through it. I didn't have, and I'll recycle a joke that I used before we started filming, but I didn't have that Eric Feeney figure in my life. I didn't have that one teacher. I was never on the road to anything bad. I was a good kid. I loved to read. I was a good student. So I was always going to appreciate my teachers. I was going to like my teachers. And It was the way we were raised. The way we're talking now about kind of putting books in my kids' hands. That's the way my parents were with me. So I always had a book in my hand, and I think a lot of my education was kind of just from reading, just over and over and over. So I didn't have that teacher where it's like, Rob, you're up to no good. If you don't get it together, you're going to be in like, in the military, the military academy. I liked school and teachers like me. I was thinking that I had, but I recall moments. I recall kind of experiences. I recall the times, where the teachers kind of encouraged me in a way, that helped. Like I said, I always had a book in my hand. The experience that I was thinking of when you asked me to think about this was Mrs. Cross, who was my first grade teacher. And come third grade, she was an older teacher, and she'd retired. I think we were her last class or one of her last classes. And it was at St. Gregory the Great in Belrose, Queens. She retired.
Now, is this a public school?
This is Catholic school.
Catholic school.
Catholic school.
In New York?
In Queens, New York.
Yep. Got it.
And in third grade, by the time third grade came around, she would occasionally substitute. She substituted one day. And by then, I would basically race through my work, and then I'd have a book in my desk and hope that a teacher didn't yell at me for not doing it. But I just get my work done super fast, and then I read for the rest of the period. So half my education is reading on my own. And apparently my mom tells this part of the story, but my mom comes to pick him up at the end of the day, and Mrs. Cross goes to her, I'm so proud that I was the one that taught him to read, because it made her heart feel good to see me how much I loved it. And that was a cool thing. The fact that, you were talking off camera before about somebody comes up to you you changed my life. Thank you so much. You're an amazing person, Eric Feeney. You're just, Jesus walking among us. Right? That's how you told that story.
Oh,
yeah. And that was kind of her moment of seeing and you don't see that, right?
So did your mom crush your dreams and go, no, sorry, lady, I taught him how to read in kindergarten?
My mom was very graceful about it. She's like, I guess technically you did. Yes, technically it was on your watch.
Very nice.
Mrs. Cross. But I thought that was kind of cool that it wasn't just, it was that she took, she set me off in that direction. But for her to turn to my mom and say oh, look, this is what I want. This is what I do this for. This is what I want to see. Yeah. I remember, that being, I remember, like I said, I was a good kid. I didn't become a jerk until high school.
Also on the basketball court.
I mean, that's kind of where I honed my skills. But yeah, oh no, I mean, Eric Feeney here knows me mostly as kind of a jerk because we play the same position in basketball, and I'm kind of a jerk. But generally, I'm a really nice guy. And in grammar school, I was a super rules follower. My second grade teacher, Sister Mary Ann, she, I had we didn't have this is Catholic school, this is the 80s, so we didn't have the rulers on the back of the knuckles, but we had the nuns. Sister Mary Arlene was our principal. Sister Mary Ann was my teacher. And she, I follow all the rules. My grandfather was a not graphic designer, he was a art director for a small advertising company. And their biggest client was Sunshine Bakeries, which is the competitor to Nabisco you've never heard of. But we had all the off-brand cookies. We didn't have Oreos. We had Hydrox. We had like lemon snaps or whatever. I can't remember all the names, but whatever cookies you can think of, we had the off-brand version.
The no frills.
What? Yeah, we had the Mr. Pibbs to the Dr. Pepper, that kind of thing. And one day I get a package of Oreos, and it's taped together. But whatever, I'm in second grade, and I don't know, not to eat this. And I eat one or two of them, and the third one, I take a bite, and it's a rubber cookie that's meant to look like an Oreo for a picture that my grandfather had used, had done the art direction for. And this is the only time I was a bad kid until 8th grade. 8th grade was the next time I got yelled at. I didn't get yelled at this time. And I, after lunch, went up to Sister Mary Ann and handed her the cookie and said, "Hey, Sister Mary Ann, I saved you a cookie. Do you want it?" And she's like, "Well, thanks, Rob." Again, I was such a good kid, so she didn't know to be wary. And and I told my friends I was gonna do this. This is so subversive for me. And she takes a bite of the cookie and bounces off it, and everybody laughs, and I was bright red, and she's like, "Oh, that's a good one." So
she just nodded her head.
No, she and then she hit the back of my hand with a ruler. No, I'm just kidding.
Did your friends it was Rob. It was Rob. You get that all the time.
It was literally the biggest risk I took between second grade and 8th grade.
Very good.
Yeah.
Mrs. Cross and then Sister Mary Ann.
Yeah.
All right. No. Teachers play a big role.
But I will say that the person though, and the educator, he wasn't a teacher, he was my mentor in high school. was Mr. Walsh. This is in high school. I went to high school in Manhattan, and it was a tough school. I mean, not tough, like, it was academically rigorous. And he was a guy who took a lot of, for me and my brother, who was 2 years behind me, took just a lot of, he cared about us as people, cared about us, and kind of helped us develop in ways, dealt with like the competitiveness, dealt with the rigor of it, but also like kind of built us up as people throughout the whole thing. He's the guy that I would certainly educationally look at as my mentor, but he wasn't my teacher technically. So I don't know.
Guidance counselor, or
he was. I forget what his role was at the time. He was in the administration, but he always did a freshman guidance class. And for 4 years, I mean, like he would. Once you're in his guidance, his guidance class, like you're one of his guys.
Takes you under his wing and make sure you're good to go.
Yeah.
Very good.
So he's the guy.
And
he's my
what
Eric
high
Feeney.
school? Where in Manhattan?
This is Regis High School in Manhattan, the alma mater of Dr. Anthony Fauci. We wore the same basketball uniform. Well, no, mine was more modern and updated.
Say you were to throw a ball first pitch, would you throw better than Fauci, or did you see it? Did you see it?
If you could keep the pitch and the man in the same shot, yeah. I would say today. So
Well, yeah.
Today I would probably do better. I play baseball too.
Oh,
so
you did?
I play a little right field. I did have a famously erratic arm, so I probably wouldn't hit the strike zone. But I think I'm still, I'm literally half his age, right? He's like almost 80. I'm almost 40, and I like to think, yes, I do a little bit better.
No, Fauci was in Connecticut.
Yeah, he was.
Shout out, Dr. Fauci.
Dr. Fauci.
So,
proud of you.
How about basketball, baseball? What's your equivalent to your basketball move where you drop your shoulder, you bow it, and try to plow over your opponent by putting your shoulder in the
middle of the chest,
guards you sternum,
while their feet are still shuffling side to side, while they're committing a
proper
blocking
guarding
foul.
position,
While they're committing a
hands
blocking
are up,
foul,
and you just try to bowl the person over.
When have your hands ever been up?
Proper guarding position.
One time. If you could show me one time when your hands have been up.
Verticality.
One time.
Look it up. Verticality.
One time your hands have been up will be the first time. Andy Irwine, you check me on that.
Yeah. Ty Tran. Look this up. Andy Erline.
Yeah.
I saw Andy Erline, and shout out to Andy and friends and Ty.
Really
they discussed a travel play for at least 30 minutes, maybe more.
Who had done the traveling?
They went back and forth on how they bounced the ball and took a step, and I told them, guys, enough. Actually, they were at my house. I said, guys, you got to go. I kicked them out.
Yeah.
And if Ty or Andy wants to
come on here
confirm
and
this,
debate that, yeah.
And then they went back to text message, and they included me in the text message. And I said, take this somewhere else.
Yeah, Andy's the guy who coined my probably my most famous and yet productive move. I have a lot of moves that I go to all the time that don't get me anywhere. But my most famous move in the basketball court, he dubbed the Impala. And it's basically one dribble and two very long
strides.
Two very long strides. And do you want to get in front of this? Like, good luck. Yeah. That's a nice thing about...
Listen, I don't take many charges.
Yeah.
I don't play much defense.
That's true.
But the only charges I've ever taken, I didn't even want to take them, were against the Impala move.
I will find you. I will find you and give you a charge.
The Impala.
Like, I will find you.
The Impala. That long stride.
I don't even know if I could do that anymore. I haven't played for almost 2 years now between COVID and I had a little injury. So I don't even know what I got left. I'm assuming what little touch I had has not fared well.
As long as you got the long stride. No, Andy says he refuses to draft me. He can get me, if I was on his team, I'd average 18.
Yeah.
But I'd have to play defense. And he claims I can't do that. But he doesn't know it's a mindset, and I can play defense. I can play defense.
If that's true, I have yet to see you enter that mindset. Here's the thing, is that, no, I'm gonna,
How many championships do you have at the JCC?
How many you got?
2.
I only got 1.
Both winters.
What do you mean?
Winter leagues. What league did you win them in? Did you ever do spring? Were you a spring guy?
I never did. No, I forget which one it was. I think it was a spring or fall or something like that.
And let's hope.
It was sorry?
Go ahead. I was hoping, fingers crossed, that the winter league happens, but who knows?
It's 2021.
It's going to be very close.
No,
go ahead, your championship.
My championship I won with Dave Bender and I were on the same team.
Oh, shocker.
I was the third tallest person on that team. I was 6'4". And we had this guy that nobody knew who was, I think, 6'7", 6'8". He'd played at CCSU.
Did he break someone's jaw? Was that play?
No, that was No, what's his name broke a tooth? Ford broke somebody's tooth on my team.
Yeah.
No. This guy was 6'8", and he had played D1. He was probably almost 50, but dude could still play. Like when you're that level of athlete, you never forget. I mean,
college athlete.
Yeah, and he was our center. Bender was playing power forward. I was playing small forward, and just
stacked.
We had. Who else did we have? We had Jim Roy was playing
athletic
shooting guard.
Athletic.
And who the heck was playing? And Brandon was playing point guard.
Which Brandon?
Point guard.
What's his name?
Yes.
He says something every time he shoots.
I don't know about
Headband.
that. Yeah.
He's a good guard.
Great guard. Yeah. I mean, that team was stacked, and I think we went 10-0. Although we
10-0.
Yeah, we ran the table. So that was my only championship. I've lost three championship games in a row.
We made the championship.
Yeah. We lost. Basically, I kept losing to Andy, Scott McGilpin, and Ty 3 times in a row.
Yeah, they stack their teams.
Well,
stack. They cheat.
Yeah, they cheat.
Set the lineup. Knows this. I won with Deron Freeman and Brandon Freeman and Rabbi.
Okay.
Greatest teammate of all time. Thank you, Rabbi. And
most annoying cover in the league too, because you're like, do I breathe in his direction? Do I not? Like,
I guess I gotta let him score. Chad Turner, great captain. Turner, and I forgot who I had outside of my team, but 2 championships.
All right. Well,
back to a player that you mentioned too, Jim Roy.
Yeah.
40th birthday. This is a career athletic highlight of mine.
Yeah.
My 40th birthday, JCC game. I hit the game-winning shot at the buzzer. Oh,
I think I saw the video.
Prior to, there's a video. It's on JCC website. Check it out. JCC.com.
.org. JCC.com.org.
Prior to halftime, Jim Roy pulled a Rob and just tried to run me over with his shoulder, broke my rib.
Like literally?
The next day or a couple days later, I went and got an X-ray. It was a broken rib.
Dude,
I played the whole game.
That's your flu game.
That's my.
That's your moment of like epic greatness. Actually, no, that's one of your moments of epic greatness in the story of your overarching epic greatness.
It's like I got married, I had twins, I had a game winner on my 40th birthday with a broken rib.
No. We're calling that the rib game. We're calling that the rib game.
The rib
game. Yeah.
The rib game.
Yeah.
Jim Roy he'll confirm that too.
I guess my disappointment there is just that like I've definitely hit you more times than Jim has.
Yeah.
And
how do you feel about that?
I feel like if somebody's supposed to break your rib, little frustrated, embarrassed.
6'4", 200 plus.
225, yeah.
Jim Roy, you know.
Jim's a
5-something,
yeah,
100 and nothing.
He's more of a finesse guy. See, the thing about Jim, you got to understand, is he can dribble and he can shoot and do a lot of basketball-y things. My thing is moving in a straight line at great speeds.
Trucking people, plowing over.
Yes, that's my
charging.
thing. That's like, no.
You see this?
Yeah.
Offensive foul.
I developed at maybe age 37 the Euro step. Just to keep
those long strides.
It's amazing. It's you say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. When I figured that out, I was like, well, this is it. This is like I needed a counter move to you guys just standing where I'm going to be.
People like quiver, like
yes.
You're going to get crushed, and you just go to the side of them. And
but they're also
bucket.
People know by now to stand in front of me and take that charge. So I can't tell you how many times I have gone to the right and then barely grazed the person going to the left, and they fall straight back, and I'm still getting the charge. And I'm like, listen, just because our nipples barely touch does not mean that's a charge.
That's Sorry, the Manu.
Don't edit that out. that stays.
That's the Manu Ginobili flop.
Exactly. And the Manu Ginobili Euro step. It's like Manu guarding Manu.
No, I love that league. Great connections.
Yeah.
Good friends. I mean, I've done it since I moved here. I think it's 11 years I lived in West Hartford.
Same thing. It was like the first thing I did was look for a place to play basketball when I moved to Connecticut. And actually, that's where I met. Andy was on my first team. Chad Turner was on my first team.
Andy's first team was on my team.
No, that was his first team. This was my first team. Stop being so self-centered.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. That was also a team that we talked about. Andy, Ford, Scott, Greg Marks. McGillipin.
That's a good team.
Yep, should have won.
No, there's no shouldas.
Shoulda, coulda.
I'm basically, you've got your 2 championships, but I'm basically LeBron, right? Because I've lost more championships. I've been in that game. I've been in that position to win, and keep not winning. But I got mine. That's the important thing.
Hey, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You get one. Oh, this is a good segue. I want to shout out Donut Crazy. Go down to Donut Crazy on Farmington Avenue. We had a wonderful fundraiser there. A family that had a fire, and we did a fundraiser. We collaborated with Irene, and there was a King Philip family that had a house fire, and they needed funds, and they had a heartbreak or tragedy, and they were in a tough spot, and we raised money for them. So it was like before the COVID hit. It was like November 9th, or does that make sense? November? When was COVID? January.
COVID was the last 15 years, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, who even knows?
Like, every moment of every day for a decade plus.
There's all those jokes like March.
Yeah.
March.
I wish I could go. I wish that March was the high water mark of all this shit. Anyway, sorry, you were in the middle of a
back to
yeah.
You go see any cashier. They don't know this yet. Irene, hold on, sorry, I'm doing this. You say be a good friend to one of the cashiers, you're gonna get a discount or a donut. Friends of Feeney, be a good friend. Say it to Donut Crazy. Thanks, Irene.
I like the surprise discounts, yeah.
Collaboration for the discount.
Exactly. He comes in, you're wearing like a Coldplay shirt, like, and Coldplay's gonna play at our next. Yeah. You too will be performing. Like what? And they find out on your podcast, which has no distribution at the moment.
That's what I'll just start wearing the shirts and shouting people up.
So what's next on our agenda? We had 3 things, right? We talked about a teacher.
School, teacher, friends of Feeney. Let's talk more about me. You've been talking too much.
All right. Yeah. Well, you.
How do you know me? Or basketball.
Feeney. Yeah.
How good am I?
So I will say this. I will say that for a long time, I actually considered you more a frenemy than a friend. And I think we're actually crossing that Rubicon. It's a friendship. But yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I would say that as strong an offensive player as you are, that's my strength is on-ball defense, right? So we would have some battles at that end of the court. The other end of the court was a shit show where I can't score and you can't defend. It's a really great game of basketball on one side, and it is not fun on the other side. And so there was a lot of tussling. I think I've yelled at you on the court, and I used my body.
I don't know if we ever got technicals versus each other.
I have gotten vanishingly few technicals. You'd be surprised.
Okay. Then it was either you, Ben Fuchs, or Bender that needed to be separated.
Ben Fuchs is another guy who I absolutely love in real life and have had some difficult moments. One time, I forget what happened. I accidentally hit him below the belt, and he looked at me with fury in his eyes. I was like, I thought we were friends. And I had to tell him.
Oh, good, because I think I got that same look.
Yeah, and then Bender, one time, I forget what happened. And Bender, my first championship with him, we were already good friends, but we also infuriated each other. And I forget what happened, but after a play, I think I did something good, and it frustrated him. And I'm a big guy, but he's a big guy. He's 6'7", probably got another 10, 15 pounds on me, and strong. Maybe? And he in frustration, wrapped his arms around me and lifted me up. There are not a lot of humans who could do that. And then I was like, and we laughed it off. But I was like, so all of these people. Yeah. But I had already had a relationship with them. With you, we just came in and played basketball. So I considered you more a frenemy, and now I consider you a friend.
That was great, too. You're like, what can I call this? Our band name for the Global Cardboard Challenge. And you straight up said, frenemies of Feeney.
Yeah.
Frenemies. No. Good times, great connections at the JCC. Very thankful of all the friends that I've met, and I couldn't thank them enough. They're always generous, and they make donations to our nonprofit organization, and they help people. I can name so many people,
But that'd be a very boring podcast.
Let's just go down.
Yeah.
Really.
Just listen in. We'll just scroll it like it's the 9/11 memorial.
Yeah, we'll just put it down the list.
So I had a question about Friends of Feeney. So I understand your guys, your mission, right? You're helping families that have experienced heartbreak, and what I love about that as a mission is that it's a very important but also very simple space. You know what I mean? I feel like my problem with non-for-profits overall is everybody's trying to reinvent. We want to cure this disease, we want to do that, and everything has to be at this incredibly high level. It's got to be the cure, the thing of the headlines, and there's just a lot of real personal, real human stuff going on that I think goes unattended. And so it was my first instinct about Friends of Feeney was both that's it. And then as I thought about it a little bit more maturely, I was like, that's really important. There's a lot there. And the thing and then I thought today, because I don't like to be prepared for things, but I did a little bit of homework, and I was trying to think like, what's my connection to Friends of Feeney? Like I'm extraordinarily blessed. I certainly, I never lost a parent or anything like that growing up. My kids are, whatever. My kids have everything that they need, and I was trying to think of my connection. Well, my connection is I lost my sister when I was 25 and she was 21. And so I was too old for it to be, that defining childhood kind of tragedy, but it's marked me in so many ways. And the thing that I realized, and I kind of wanted to explore with you and maybe let you talk a little bit because I came preloaded with a lot of material, is that aspect of Friends of Feeney, right? Like on the one hand, there's the support for the family. On the other hand, like grief, for a while after tragedy, like grief is all you are, right? Like it is the only thing that you've become. It's the only thing that's left of you as a person. And so for me, my connection to Friends of Feeney is like what is that? How does that play into what you're doing? And how do you support kids in that way?
Well, first, I want to share my condolences. I never knew that, so I'm very sorry that happened.
I thought I would drop that emotional bomb on camera and see how you handled it. You did pretty good. I've seen better, I've seen worse.
Because my thing was my parents were divorced at 7th grade. I know how it would be to not see your father once in a while. I could not imagine not to see your father ever. So, and I am a big brother to my little sister who just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Liz.
Happy birthday, Liz. My little sister's name is Liz, too.
Elizabeth, Liz.
Liz, yeah, Elizabeth.
And then Andrew is my other brother. We call him Boog. Andrew. Booger. He used to pick his nose and stuff. Boog. Yeah. So the big brother aspect I can relate to. And, I'm feeling the empathy and I'm feeling emotional that I could not imagine losing a sibling. So, I share my condolences.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
No,
and for, we would support me, help you. We would, if that was
I'm not looking for No, I mean, like, how do let's say, I think I read one story.
Not now, but saying present tense, if this were to happen to
But
you.
I think I read one story about like a kid who lost, I think you were talking earlier on, a family that tragically, the father passed away recently. And, on the one hand, people need to get out of the house. On the one hand, people will need like financial support. But like the most important thing is like, that's all this kid can think about. That's all this person is right now is this grief.
Yeah, so that's where we raise money to get you to a sports camp, make sure, just get your mind off of it for a short period of time because, like you said, you're all grief, but so you would want to have some sort of time to express a different feeling.
Yeah.
Maybe a sports event or something. So, yeah, man, you threw me off.
Well, I think the thing is that. And this is the other thing I was thinking.
Do you have any other siblings?
I do. I have a brother and a sister as well. So my sister passed away. Her name is Kathy. My sister Liz is 2 years younger than she would be. And my brother Chris is 2 years younger than me. So I was the oldest of four.
Gotcha.
The other thing I'm thinking is like, just kind of the nature of what you're doing, right? I mean, like having your parents divorced is also a grief-inducing, situation. Losing a house, like there's other forms of it, and so you're dealing with people on a regular basis. I should have warned you about this.
Yeah.
I really came in hot.
Hey, well done.
The thing that
it's authentic and real.
Yeah, exactly. The thing that I need you to understand is that from my perspective, it's like it is a thing that I live with, and it's been many years. It's 13 years. Oh, sorry, that's another reason why I'm going to keep that to myself. No, it's another reason why it's been very salient for me. Her birthday was August 12th. It's been 13 years. For some reason, some years it hits you more than other years. This year was one of those years where I was like, oh God, like what happened here? So this has been a very raw year. So like obviously, let's just get on a camera and talk about it. But you're on the one hand, this is all you feel. This is the most important thing in your life. On the other hand, you also are a normal person, and you want to be treated like a normal person. And then on the third hand, and I'm going to have at least 5 hands here, I think. On the third hand, it's like you also want to be able to have these conversations with people in a way that's like, I love you to death, But this isn't a normal conversation, right? Like the most important thing now is like you're the first time you hear it, you're like, oh my God,
yeah,
Rob's sister's dead. What do I do about that? And like I see you back on your heels a little bit, and I'm trying to have
True.
kind of a normal conversation, you know,
Very
like
true.
kind of get to where I am, you know? No, but how, you know, how do you have these kind like this is or can be a space where you're with people who understand this like really important part of you and can connect to that in a way where it's not all of what you are, but it's also not under the rug. Like you can see the way that I diffuse this conversation is through humor, right? Or another popular way to do it is through avoidance. It's just not saying. It's like, oh yes, I'm the oldest of four. Like you don't mention. Like for me, my thing, and my cousin shared this poem. I think I read this poem when I was writing her eulogy, and he shares this poem just about every year, and it's like, so I'm sure you've seen, maybe you haven't. Something along the lines of like don't think of me differently just because I'm gone. Speak of me in the old familiar ways, et cetera, et cetera. And that's always been a thing that I took to heart. It's like I'm going to talk about her as if, you know, like the stories are still stories, right? When she was 7, she did this. She's not 7 anymore. I could tell a story about a person who was 7 years old, right? Obviously, this conversation is a bit of a showstopper. It takes a little bit of the oxygen out of the room. So my thing had always been like if and where I can is talking about my experience in as normal and natural way as I can. And sometimes you find people, there's a person I work with very closely at work, shout out to Becky Bird, who'll never see this, who has experienced similar, you know, heartbreak. Her husband passed away about 2 years ago. Oh shoot, today's her birthday. I had to text her. But we have been able to have these kind of conversations where just like, hey, I can tell you a thing that's like a super, like if I could, it's coming on April 15th, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta do my fucking taxes. You know, you know, Feeney, you're sitting there like, yeah, I know, I gotta do my taxes too. Or you can commiserate in just like a very natural way. Whereas I can't do that with this piece of who I am, right? I can talk to Becky and say, hey, it's like today's her birthday and tomorrow's her anniversary. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what you're going through. And we can talk about it without it being too important and without having to like diminish it or throw it under the rug or like, haha, how funny is death? You know, like make a joke about it. Like you can just talk about it. And I feel like, you know, you're dealing with kids. A lot of them have been in that space in like a very real way. And I'm sure they have similar experiences as each other.
Yeah, no, well, it all started when my student lost their father. And like, again, my kids were young, I had the divorce experience, and I couldn't imagine. And there were 4 kids, and they had a set of twins. I had twins, and I just felt connected. Yeah. And we're still connected. I mean, I go to all the football games and baseball games, and you just make sure everything, they're part of my family now. Yeah. So
do you let anybody go once they introduce themselves?
I know.
You're just like, fuck you. You just met me. I'm going to take care of you for the rest of your life. Like, what? I don't know. Think about think about chicken. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. Chicken he was guest number 2 here. Yeah. We did the phone conversation.
Yeah. So I watched that for preparation. It gave me no help.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, buddy, you were kind of nervous in the beginning, right? Did you loosen up at all?
Did he say that to you or you said it to him?
I said that to him following.
Well, he should have said it to you.
I was bad?
You're a little nervous.
Well, there were times where I had to wait I was anticipating his phone call, so I had to build time, and there's like so much I could fill.
That's true.
But that's my main guy. So
you take care of anybody who comes into your life and they experience something, you just take care of it. It's just a lifetime. You're in Mr. Feeney's class, you're in 5th grade, you've got a lifetime warranty. Like you want to get in that class, Mr. Feeney, I need $20 to go to the movies. Like he's like, I got it, it's my code. It's my code.
I mean, you're not kidding. So
But yeah, so that's how you started, right? So you had a student of yours?
And, yeah, you have to talk about death. You have to have that uncomfortable conversation. You have to mourn. You have to, you know, be there and be compassionate and helpful. And it's heartbreaking and it's not fun. Like, yeah, you see funny Feeney, but sometimes you got to get serious and the real world goes on. Yeah. But like you said, dealing with humor, I connected right away because, you know, or you don't want to regression until you throw it in the back of your head and never think of it. But you want to either laugh about it or talk about it. It's very healthy. So just there for you. That's crazy.
Yeah,
well, you dropped that on me. That was.
I really should have said something beforehand. That was a little aggressive. But anyway, that's an area where Friends of Feeney, you're doing the Lord's work in more ways than you know. You know, these are people who and I, you know, they need a lot at that time. And the truth is that society is really not set up to handle it in that way. Society is not. People want you to move on, and they want not to be burdened with your feelings in this way. And it's not from a bad place. It's just that people don't know how to deal with it. This is too much for people to handle. And like, let me tell you something. It's too much on the other side too. Like, I know it's too much. Let me tell you something.
Yeah. Did you feel like sometimes like enough already? Stop telling me sorry for losing my sister. Did you ever have that feeling? That everywhere you went, someone mentioned it, or is that a tough question?
It's been a long time. I'd say you'd like to be acknowledged in some way. You know what I mean? Like, it is something that, as much as people will say a lot at the beginning, it'll go away. And it makes you feel like, you know, she's being forgotten. You know, it's not about me. You know, you're just protective of this person that you love so much. My sister has friends who still send my parents flowers on her birthday. To this day, 13 years later, they went to high school together. They call her, they send flowers. Like, she really touched a lot of people in that way. And that, like, I don't need everybody, like, I don't need a fucking parade, you know, once a year for this thing. But it's nice to know that the people that meant something to her, she meant a lot to. It's like just good for me to know that's happening in the background. So I wouldn't say that I ever felt like enough already. I'd say that I think it always helped when and wherever I heard it.
Have you done something in your life to commemorate her or motivate you to get a job, name someone, do something?
So we were studying for the LSAT together. And I guess, so I very aggressively continued studying, went to law school, tried to hurt people with my grades. Like, I took law school a lot more seriously than I took college. And I don't think I did it completely for her, but I think whatever part of me was still kind of like, whatever, like, I'll figure it all out. I think it honed me a little bit. I think you kind of have two options here. One is you either, listen, I'm not a psychologist. This is what I felt my options were at the time. One is you give up on everything, or you go in the other direction, and it's like your Batman moment. It's like, my parents were killed in an alley, and now I will avenge them for the rest of my life. And I kind of took that one.
Well, it's good. I mean, way to honor her in a productive way.
Yeah, I mean, World already has too many lawyers, so maybe I missed the message. I don't know.
Well, I can't thank you enough. We hit the roller coaster of emotions here,
Yeah.
so thank you.
We laughed, we cried.
That was, yeah.
We discussed old charges.
The Jimmy V. We had a full day right here in this 45-minute conversation. And it related about hoop. We had some Jimmy V talk about the hoop. We had our emotions.
Yeah, we got in our feels.
Yeah. You're a good dude, so remember that.
You're a good dude too, man.
And hopefully see you on the court. I can't thank you enough for coming.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this conversation very much.
Me too.
Hopefully I'm no longer a frenemy. Well, we'll think about that.
I said you moved into the friend. Yeah,
you did mention that earlier.
Yeah, you moved into the friend. And listen, we also haven't played basketball against each other for 2 years. It's really helped our friendship.
Yeah, we weren't even. You go to Ford's a couple times too, right?
Not during this.
But after JC, not just JCC.
Especially with some people there who aren't taking mask precautions. No, I haven't. I was injured for most of last year. I haven't played in almost 2 years.
That's right. We'll get into views later, but want to thank Direct Line Media, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
My man, he's great. It wouldn't happen without him. I want to thank Rob, our guest. We're going to talk Makerspace with our next guest, and I can't thank you enough, Dave. See you soon, buddy.
Quick question: can I get in as the performer for the next Makerspace?
100%. You're in. If we ever have a concert, a benefit concert, a cornhole tournament that we need music,
you'll be happy to ask
You're
me
my
for
man.
free. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the opportunity.
No, I really appreciate it. I had a great combo.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Me too.
See you soon. Hopefully you're at the next concert. Check it out. And our next Makerspace, he will be the live music.
Whether I want to or not.